Will Seminole County residents choose to extend the tax that funds the roads, schools, and flood control? Oh, David, you can't make this shit up. We're your hosts, David Washington, Joel Hoxley. So, David, we're going to be talking about in Seminole County, Florida, the leaders are facing a critical juncture as voters must decide whether to renew the 1 cent sales tax this November. The tax, which funds essential infrastructure improvements like roads, schools, and flood prevention, is crucial for maintaining the county's quality of life. Now, if not renewed, officials warn of severe budget cuts and potential property tax hikes to cover the shortfalls. Since its inception in 2015, the tax has generated substantial revenue benefiting various public projects and services, underscoring its importance to the community's well-being. Okay, well, David, this has been on my agenda
Yes.
forever. I make
Yes.
sure that everybody who's come to talk to us from Seminole County has touched on this.
Yes,
So,
you have.
David, tell me about your pro-tax lifestyle.
Hey, I'm all for taxes as long as we can afford them and they go towards infrastructure, social programs that actually benefit the community. We can get into the details about that. However, this is about your home county. And as a candidate for Seminole County, as a candidate in Seminole County for Castleberry Council, seat 4, yes, okay. This is more, your lane, and we'll love to get some insight.
Well, I think for me, it's an incredible opportunity. What people don't realize is this is a tax on that we generate a lot of money from, the tourism, the people that are coming through. So, it's a pass-through tax. Yeah, we pay it, but it's not one of those things that you go, hey, I'm going to go to Orange County because I'm going to go purchase something because I'm going to save a half a cent. This has been passed since 2015.
Right.
I mean, it's not the first time it's sunset. So it's an important tax because it's not just helping for infrastructure. In the county, it's also proportionately shared with the cities. And I know Castleberry, we have a charter amendment or a charter in our charter that we must present how this money is going to be spent before we receive it. So we're already, to use it, we must provide where we're going to use it. So they're doing the budget right now.
Right.
This will be part of what they'll have to look at. We won't know the exact amount. We won't know if we're going to get it, but we will still plan accordingly. And that's important. And this money is important because it helps so many communities. Now, whether you spend it correctly or not, that's a different story. We can talk about Winter Springs.
Mhm.
We have talked about Winter Springs. There there's questions about how they spent their penny tax.
Mhm.
So they've had an audit from Grant Malloy. Again, Grant Malloy, he's the county clerk and comptroller, and he's unopposed. And I can say this now, as much as I like him, and I think that his stance on this, he's probably one of the only the few that are against it. And his stance, I think, is hypocritical because his office used so much of it, of this penny.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about how the penny tax has been used throughout Seminole County. Give us some examples of, what Grant Malloy's office has used the penny tax for, and what other offices or departments have used the penny tax for.
Well, his
and whether
benefit,
it's benefited
well,
or not benefited.
his benefit is it got him a private bathroom in his office. Has also given him a larger conference room with a TV, so big that we could all go watch the Super Bowl there. Now, I'm not saying those weren't things that needed to be updated, but that's how it was spent. But he's against this tax,
Mhm.
so I don't know.
Was
I don't
that
know if that
private?
I don't know if that private bathroom anybody's talking about it, but
Right.
it's part of the public record. Why does the clerk need a private bathroom? Is he scared to go out where the rest of the people? No, listen. I'm not harping on him. I mean, yes, it's probably a necessity, but I just think it's really strange that he's so against the tax that benefited his office,
Mhm.
and he's going to have 4 more years in that office. And does he not think that if the cuts come, I guess if they come, he's already spent it. No, these are roads. If you drive down the road and you see some bridge, a lot of bridges you can't see,
Mhm.
right? You'll drive over this road all the time, but you won't realize there's a stream or something going underneath, and
Okay.
you're actually on a bridge. But in Seminole, you'll see this round green sign that has a penny on it,
Correct.
and it'll tell you that this project was supported by it. There's a road that I take all the time, that is now 4 lanes. 2 lanes on the right, 2 lanes on the left, and it was widened because it needed to be widened, but it was the penny tax that did it. Uh, how the city spend it can be questioned, but why would you roll back something? You say you're conservative. You say that you want to lower taxes. So why would you make the county commission look at tax increases in a different area because you decided to eliminate a tax that's been substantially helping you for years?
That penny tax went towards specific uses. Would that penny tax continue to go towards specific uses and not be relegated to other ideas or projects?
It can't go to other projects.
So it has to
it's very
stay.
specific. It's very specific on how it can be used.
Mhm.
Just like the Seminole County Charter is very strict on certain things, like um, the supervisor of elections needs a new office. He's outgrown it. The
Right.
county has outgrown it. He's been having trouble with you know with the budget, finding the place or whatever, from what I understand. But the issue is he can't just go anywhere in Seminole County. So he can't just go, okay, I'm going to go, Castleberry has a really great place that's available. I'll go to Castleberry. Or, hey, there's a great office space that I can take over in Longwood. No, he has to stay in Sanford. He has to stay in Sanford because that's where the county seat is.
Okay.
So because the county seat is in Sanford, he's restricted to stay in Sanford.
Are there satellite offices for the?
You're allowed satellite offices, but your office must be
in this
in the seat. And so, like, if you're in Castleberry, you can go to the tax collector because we have an office there. You can go to the clerk because we have an office there, but they're satellite.
Right.
You're not going to see Grant Malloy's office move to Castleberry. He's going to end up, staying at the courthouse.
What other improvements would this penny tax go towards?
Really, the county commission spends it wisely. I mean, you've got flood, prevention. You have infrastructure. You have upkeep on things, but it's usually wisely spent. And I just don't. I don't understand why there would be an issue with voters saying, look, we already pay it.
Mhm.
Why roll it back? Why would I take a 30 or I don't even know how and it's millions of dollars. It's like $60 million or something like that.
Mhm.
And you want to take in $60 million, you're going to tell your commission that we're going to take $60 million away from you. And then they're going to go, well, where do we make that up? Where are you going to cut? So when you go into the ballot box, think about if you were to lose, $60 million, and you had to, or whatever your budget is, take a portion of your budget, probably, let's say it's 20%. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but man, you just lose all of that. Now you have to make it up. What are you going to cut? What will you cut out of your expense?
Right. And for the average Seminole County household, the penny tax costs about $131 for an average Seminole County household. In our off-camera conversation, we were talking about how, say, Castleberry is more of a average income, average household type of community.
A community that most people in our community live paycheck to paycheck. They have jobs that just help them maintain, and I think they're one paycheck away from
So this kind of
sometimes
tax savings could be beneficial. I mean, that's $131 over the course of the year.
a year.
Right. So
You spend more than that on
Netflix.
Going to Starbucks or
Right.
going to Dunkin' Donuts or just like you
That's
said,
not
Netflix. Look, if you take your Netflix, right?
That's $17, $18.
Yeah,
And the last time I checked, a month.
you're doing 12 months. So.
Right. So
It's so minor. It's so minor in impact on you,
Mhm.
On the family, and it comes back to you.
Mhm.
It comes back to you where you know that you're going to have safe roads. You know you're going to have good equipment for your fire. We have the best fire uh, rating. It keeps our insurance low because our fire department has the highest rating, and that's one thing that
it's a plus.
we don't harp on it enough with community. Like, do you realize that your fire department is so equipped and so uh, well run that it gets the highest rating, which gets your insurance lower?
As a resident of Seminole County and also, of course, of Castleberry, are you pretty much satisfied with the efforts that the penny tax has provided for?
Yes, I'm a supporter of the penny tax, whether the Republican Party chooses to be against it or not. I stand with it because I believe this is one of those taxes that is beneficial, and it's shared with everybody.
Mhm.
You want to talk about a rich man. You want to talk about a rich man not paying his taxes. Well, guess what? He can't avoid this tax.
Right. Right.
So there you go. Fair tax. We're all about fair taxes. We're all about hey, let's go to the fair tax. Let's go make taxes as easy as a postcard. You've heard all the stories.
Yes, I have.
10-10-10.
Yeah.
Or is it 9-9-9? I think it was 9-9-9. These plans are all great plans.
Right.
But this tax is a fair tax. Whether now Democrats typically don't care for this tax because it influences heavily on the poor. They'll say, but the poor. Are you telling me the poor spend more money than rich people?
I think the saying goes that the rich tend to invest more because they have more.
Okay. But David, I read this. I think this is an incredible opportunity for discussion. It's a driver to get people out to the polls. I don't think when it's implemented, I think it's different than trying to implement it.
Okay.
Like Orange County trying to implement it didn't put forth
a good marketing plan
Well, they
to
did, yeah.
influence and persuade people.
I want you
vote
to
for it.
spend an extra penny for transportation.
Right.
Didn't sell.
Right.
Okay, transportation's different, right?
And this penny tax, penny tax will not go towards transport.
It does go to it goes partially to transportation. We pay a portion of our lakes. Lakes goes into Seminole County. We pay our portion.
So the part of that penny tax,
part of it's transportation.
It's going to go to. Oh, okay. Now I was just reading that it's hands off. It won't go towards what is it? Personnel maintenance, personnel issues, maintenance issues, or transportation. So, but there is a portion that will go. But
transportation, that's a different. I understand what it's saying, but we pay our portion,
right,
of links.
Right.
Whether that budget comes from this, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't run the county. I want to be part of my community, and I want to be a Castleberry commissioner. But that's the money I want to spend it on, is to make sure that we maintain for our city the things that we need to.
Speaking of
where we can put that money.
Speaking of like persuading voters to support or not support this particular initiative, for those who want this initiative to move forward, what efforts are being made to persuade voters to vote?
Well, the commission, I believe the commission is doing a good job of actually reaching out to the community. The Seminole County Republican Executive Committee actually came out and voted to be against this tax early in the process. However, I believe that Bruce Cherry, the chairman of the party, is now said that he's going to, Bob Delary, Commissioner Delary, and Commissioner Zembauer have requested an opportunity to speak to this issue so that we are more informed, and maybe we can revisit whether we support this tax or not. And I think if you look at the interviews as we come out with them, I think Lee Constantine truly took the moment, knowing how I feel about this, to capture that. So when that rolls out, I want people to pay attention. Lee really speaks to this penny, and I think he would speak better than I can. But it's a necessary evil. But I wouldn't want to cut somebody's budget. I wouldn't want to come to somebody's household and say, "Look, it's bad enough that your homeowner's insurance is going to go skyrocketing when you renew. I don't want to have to say, look, I need to raise your taxes because I need to make up for a penny sales tax that's been here since 2015."
And taxes, those particular taxes will be property taxes, and that will go up, and that's at a rate of maybe an additional $400 on a $400,000 home.
How about the fact that
a lot?
How about the millage? There's a lot of people come into Florida and never even heard of it, don't understand it, but tweak that millage, and it affects the residents. This tax affects anybody purchasing anything in Seminole County. So the majority of people traveling through Seminole County, if you're coming from Volusia into Orange County, if you're traveling you're spending money in Seminole County. If you're going back, you're spending money in Seminole County. This is a tourist investment, as well as you're purchasing stuff. You're going to spend a portion, but it's a half a penny. Every county has used this leeway. It's 1 penny. You can't go any higher than a penny.
Right.
1 penny you're allowed to play with, and we've had that penny since 2015.
So, Joel, as a candidate for Castleberry Council, if you had a project for the community, a community project that you would like to promote and see through the approval of the city council and the voters, and not necessarily affected by this penny um, tax. What is it that you would like to see for the citizens of?
Well, I love Castleberry, and I think I've talked to Castleberry a lot with you, David. I keep trying to get you. You live in Baldwin Park, beautiful area in Orlando. I mean,
Yes.
I don't want to like the setup here. The thing is, you have a way that community can gather. Everything is built around something.
Right.
You go to Altamont Springs, you have beautiful Crane's Roost. Everybody taking their wedding pictures out there. There's just a lot to do. We lack that one element of a community area. Now, if you go to our city hall, we have beautiful art. We have a nice park that kind of surrounds it. We have a beautiful art center that we just opened, and we've now moved the police station over towards the old bowling alley, where it's right across from the tax collector's office. So when you go to the DMV there, you'll see the new police station.
All right.
But that move does a lot for our city because it'll give us that area that's blocking the beautiful lake that's behind the city hall. And I think you could really say, look, let's do a feasibility study. Let's have an opportunity to say we lack this one thing. Let's see if we can have a place like that. I mean, Lake Eola is a prime example. You know, it's big enough, and it's a place that exists. Name that place. Now, somebody out there might say, "Hey, Joel, I don't think you understand our city very well because you're missing this." We have beautiful parks, but that's not what I'm talking. I'm not talking about our beautiful parks that we're investing money in. I'm talking about community place to gather. Today we want to have a concert.
Okay.
We want to bring
a farmers market or a larger one.
A farmers market, a place where people can gather. People can, Pokemon, or you can get your wedding pictures.
There you go.
Just like that beautiful area in Altamont. I mean, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You have that area where you celebrate. Maybe you get married out there.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful lake. So, but that's August 20th. I will find out. I'm going to knock every door. I'm going to talk to every resident I possibly can before that time. It's going to be about turnout, and those people that care for the city will want to know about the 8 charter amendments that are on there, and they'll come out. We're extending terms, term limits. We're extending terms is one of them. We're making this a winner take all election is one of them. Having the swearing in date moved to December because of budget. Nothing worse than to win an election, get sworn in immediately, and then sit in the middle of a budget meeting that's almost over.
Yeah, that doesn't.
Hey, we're in the last week of the budget,
Right.
So now you have something you got to vote on. You'd have no clue whether you support it or not. So they're well thought out. The charter amendments, if you citizen of Castleberry and you get that opportunity, I think you'll like what you see. I think the Charter Review Commission did a great job.
In closing, for the record, what's your position on the Seminole County penny?
I vote yes to maintain it. If you sunset this tax, you will put the burden on yourself.
All right. You heard it here first from future commissioner of Castleberry. Please, again, August 20th is election day. If you live in Castleberry, look for Joel in your community, knocking on doors, saying hello, say hello back. But man, it's not a vote wasted. Your host, Joel Hawksley, David Washington. This is, you can't make your.
You can't make this shit up. Like, share, just be part of our community. You can't make this shit up. It's fantastic. Look, David's trying to remember. I have to go push a button and go in. But you know what? Let's all tell David. If he, Buddy Dyer's going to be moving on soon. So
Is he really? We'll talk about that in the other show. See you in the next episode.